Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Nice to be here with you all. So everybody's got their Japa bag. My Japa bag I had on my neck, and then I put it back in the room for some reason. But we're here to talk a little bit today about the importance of our Japa meditation. It's okay. Why do we spend so much time chanting on beads? So I was hoping to have a little bit of an interactive discussion where it's not just the dialectic, but we can discuss together a little bit. If you look at many religions, there's some form of rosary. Catholic Church, they chant beads. Even Buddhist, you see some form of chanting, mantras. Even Islamic traditions, they have chants and beads. But it's funny, nowadays, as devotees, we go in the airports, people say, what is in this bag? It's a very ancient practice. It's a place where we hold our very sacred symbols that remind us of the importance of the meditative process based on mantras. Ancient mantras. These mantras that have been chanted throughout millennia by spiritual seekers. And so it's not something that's just like a regulation that, if you want to be part of this tradition or this religion, this spiritual path, you have to chant a certain amount every day. It's not something that's meant to be like a dry habit that doesn't have any kind of value immediately tangible in our life. It's not meant to be, you gotta chant your 16 rounds a day, and so whenever you just try to fill in that quota. It's not meant to be I gotta meet my quota if I want to be accepted as part of this group. It's not its purpose. Now, we have a regulated amount of chanting that we do. And so on one hand, you could say it is like a quota we gotta meet. But that's because at the stage we're at, in the budding stage, we need reminders or targets to meet so that we don't underachieve in our spiritual life. We don't want to underachieve in our spiritual life. We want to meet or exceed expectations. Because our expectations are great expectations. Therefore, we cannot achieve those great expectations by underachieving in our practice. Therefore, it's regulated. Every day, we try to chant 16 rounds. So the Japa beads we chant on are 108 beads. 108 is a very auspicious number. Not only in Vedic traditions, but in all spiritual traditions, they give great regard to 108. That has great symbolic merit and importance. For us, 108 is a number that symbolizes the type of relationship we want to have with God through the medium of his own intimate associates. Therefore, 108 is for us specifically very important. Who knows what the 108 number stands for in the Japa beads?
108 gopis.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Very nice. 108 means, I'll give you some kind of ontological background. Our conception of God in its highest, or his highest state. Because we are not so narrow-minded to say that God is only this blue boy. He is only that beautiful, ever-youthful blue boy. But he's also Vamandev, Varahadev, Kalki, Nrsimha, Parashuram, and he manifests in millions of forms. But his original form the original candle that lights all others. Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha, Anadi Adi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam, that original sweet form of Krishna. He is God. That is what is described in the Upanishads, in the Vedic texts. And even if you go into the esoteric teachings of other faiths, you'll find references or symbolic ways of referring to this kind of playful Lord who is with his eternal associates in the land of joy, love, the land of milk and honey. What is that? Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, all the trees drip honey out of their ecstatic love for Krishna. And it's the land of milk. All the Brahma Sanghita, Lord Brahma says in Vrindavan, the rivers are flowing with the currents of the milk from the desire-fulfilling cows, who are all goddesses in one form, Kamadhenu. So 108 that we chant on these beads, they are representations or manifestations of
108 gopis.
108 gopis. Who are the gopis? Lakshmi Sahasra Satasambhrama Sevyamanam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Adi Purush. It means the original form of the absolute truth. The primeval, original form of the Lord, Satchidananda. Full of eternal life, bliss, cognizance. Always surrounded by his millions of transcendental Lakshmis. Means the goddesses of fortune. Who are they? Why do we chant 108 beads? We could just have one bead, Radha Krishna. And always chant on that bead, Radha Krishna, Radha Krishna, Radha Krishna, Radha Krishna. Why do we chant on 108 beads? 108 beads, they are not different from Radharani. They are not, in one sense, they are not the same, but they are not less than. Radharani is Ramani Shiromani, Vrishabhanu Nandini. She is the topmost of all Krishna's beloveds. Sarvakanta Shiromani. Mahabhava Swarupatam. She is the perfection, the topmost limit of ecstatic love for God. Her love for Krishna is so great that she expands in a myriad forms as all the gopis to please Krishna. So each of these beads is expansions of Radharani's direct form, Kaya Vyuha Swarup. Means from her own transcendental body, her desire, you can think of it as God, the beloved and the lover. The beloved is being served by the lover, and the lover wants to please the beloved more and more and more and more. Therefore, she's expanding in all varieties of forms, of all kinds of flavors of moods to please her beloved. Like in the world, if there was only one kind of flower, it would get boring. How many kinds of flowers are there in the world? Who knows?
8 billion.
8 million species of life, 8,400,000. How many kinds of flowers? So many kinds of flowers. So we should accept God's creation as it is, not how we think it should be or would be or could be. God's creation is such that there is beautiful variety. Beautiful variety. All the different flowers. So the same way, the mood of the devotee is they want to please their beloved, Krishna. In the spiritual realm, they don't even think he is God. It's completely natural, spontaneous attraction. I have love for you, therefore I only want to please you. So out of that mood of love for Krishna and desire to please him, she manifests in all these forms. Radharani is described to be like the sun of divine love. And her rays and her energy, her illumination, spreads in all directions to all the devotees and empowers them with energy like us. Without the sun rays, without the energy from the sun, we would not have life. So Radharani gives the life of Krishna Prem, pure love. And with that love, all souls can come into the presence of our beloved Krishna. So why we are chanting on 108 beads, not just on one Radha Krishna bead? Because the means to attain the shelter of Krishna is through his dearmost associates. Because it's the principle of connection through always having the mood that I am merely your small servant. And so if I approach you directly, it shows that I think I have some kind of big personality. I will become Radharani, or I will become Krishna. These are the two different spiritual pathologies. I will be God, or I will be the goddess. Who, if you were to interview most people, spiritual people, you want to become? I am like going to become some kind of powerful being. They may not say I want to be God, but they want to be powerful, or wealthy, or famous. They want all the qualities of God: wealth, fame, power, knowledge, strength, wisdom. But do they want to serve him? Or they want to be, I am the goddess, everyone is worshipping me, lusting after me, idolizing me. But our mood is that we want to approach God through his very intimate associates and learn how to serve him as they do. And in that relationship, because we're fulfilling our eternal nature, we're living in our pure spiritual potential at its highest extent. Therefore, we cannot be happier in any other way. If you take something, an object or a substance or a thing, called a vastu in Sanskrit, something, everything has its inherent nature that is natural to it. So the soul's natural state, pure state, is to be in a loving relationship with the Absolute, known by many names. That is the natural state or pure state of every individual soul. Not to merge with that and lose its individuality. When we come in connection to that, we are not any less than it even. Because God is so great, for there to be prem or love, he comes down to our platform and brings us up to his platform. This is called kaivalyekya prayojanam. Prem, perfection of love, is achieving as if oneness. As if. Not absolute oneness, but as if. Because our consciousness is so absorbed in our beloved, there's no other thought in our mind. So what is more important, the body or the mind? What is higher, the body or the consciousness? So if our consciousness is Krishnaanushilana, means the constant stream of honey flowing, thick. Sometimes they say oil, like you're pouring oil, and Krishna consciousness is like that stream of oil that's never ending. But sometimes they say honey. Why? Honey is thicker, and honey is sweeter. Very thick. Sticky, but it's unbroken. Like nice, thick stream of honey. Not like hard honey. Stream of honey. The consciousness is always absorbed in serving the beloved, pleasing the beloved, with no selfish desire. But the trick of it is, because this is God's creation, why would he want it any other way than to have it in such a way that his devotees and himself would be always blissful? Why would God want his devotees to be miserable? Doesn't make sense. So sometimes people think, I have to be the servant of God, sweeping the floor and cooking and cleaning. And God is this great autocrat and we're always just like servant of the servant of the servant. Our acharyas, our teachers say that in English, language is limited to the degree of the finesse given in the Sanskrit teachings. Sevak and servant are very different. Das and bhakta, devotee. You cannot fully express the idea of a servant. Our identification is that we are servants of God. God's identification with us is that we are his beloveds. In different relationships, rasas, as many different rasas are there, we should not limit it in our understanding. The idea is that our inherent nature is to be lovers of God. That love can be expressed in many ways, according to our seed-like potential nature that is inherent in the soul. Our relationship with God will be flavored by our type of seed potential as a soul. And so there's different relationships. But essentially, we're all eternal lovers of God. Don't think of the word lover to mean romantic partners. Romantic love is one way by which that relationship with God can be experienced. And it's one of the most, or the most intimate way, because it's wholly engaging, as only romantic love can be. The parents and the children, their love is very great, but it is not as intimate as that of a lover and beloved can be. The bond of a mother and her child is very powerful. And the intimacy in one state is very powerful. And so we can have a relationship with God as mother and son, as father and son. God is so great that he wants to experience all these things. That is the meaning of Krishna. Krishna is Raso Vaisha, means he experiences all kinds of relationships with his devotees. Because that's what we seek in this world. From childhood, we're trying to experience love and happiness through relationships. With our parents, then with friends, then with partners, with statesmen, with peers. We're experiencing some taste of ananda by the relationships we have. And if our relationships are bad, then we experience suffering. What were we talking about in our seminar? Everything was circling around relationship issues. It wasn't an issue with the process, wasn't an issue with the results. It was issues with relationships. Because in this world, we cannot have pure loving relationships until we are spiritually advanced. So the problems with relationships, it's not necessarily a problem with the system or the results or the processes. It's a problem in the maturity spiritually of the individuals. And so if you see organizational problems that are based on relationships, it's because not all the organizational members, whether leaders or general members, are in a spiritually advanced state. So it's a relationship issue. So we are trying to maturely develop into the highest relationship. That relationship with God can be expressed in all different ways. The idea of romantic love, because going back to the Japa beads, these 108 beads are symbol, or each one represents one of Krishna's 108 most intimate beloveds, manifesting from Radharani. Radharani, her name means loving attraction, love towards the beloved. That's why it's called spontaneous attraction. Attraction means you're pulled towards something. So our Gurudev would say Radha. Radha means Radhavati iti Radha. Dhavati means to run with rag, attraction towards the beloved. So when Radharani appeared, Krishna was standing under a beautiful banyan tree in his threefold bending form. When we are chanting, we can meditate on this. We can meditate on that eternal, beautiful Lord who is ever youthful. If you were God, would you want to be an old man or a fresh youth with all the power, all the wealth, all the beauty, all the fame, all the beloveds, all the blissful arrangements? So think of it in a natural sense. Who wants to be an old man with aches and pains, looking over everything and managing everything? The best leader is the best delegator who empowers people. So Krishna is the God, the highest form of God, because he's the best at delegation and empowerment. So he empowers Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu, maintain the creation, create, destroy all the 330 million demigods, all Krishna's administrators for universal affairs. He is the best leader, not because he is withdrawing and renouncing his responsibilities, but he is empowering. And he does what he's needed to do. And then he goes out and he grazes the cows, meets with the gopis, plays with his friends, stays and spends time with his parents and family, and enjoys. Why would he have it any other way? In his form as Vishnu, he is maintaining everything. In his form as Shiva, he is destroying what is needful, maintaining what is needful. In his form as Brahma, he's creating everything. His power is present with them and it's acting through him, through them. The Vedas say, no demigod can bestow any boon without Krishna. So really Krishna is doing everything. Bhoktaram jagya tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram. Krishna is the enjoyer of all sacrifice and the benefactor of all spiritual activities, meaning any activity you're doing in spiritual life, whether to Ganesh, to Durga, to Shiva, the only one who can grant you the benediction or benefit, welfare, is Krishna. Without him, nothing can happen. But the point is that Krishna himself, what is he doing? He's blissfully absorbed in his pastimes. Leela Purushottama, that is his function. That is his responsibility, his sweet absorption in pastime. So therefore, Radharani, Krishna is standing under the banyan tree when we chant our Gayatri mantras, Kam Gayatri. We meditate on Krishna under the banyan tree with who manifests? When there is the Lord, then his beloved Srimati Radharani manifests, and from his left side, and immediately she runs towards him with love. Radhavati ati Radha. As she is running towards him, first, 8 gopis manifest. Lalita, Vishaka, Chitra, Champakalata, Ranga Devi, Sudevi, Indulika, Tangavidya. Induleka and Tangavidya. These are her first 8 bodily expansions for all her desires of ways to please and serve Krishna. Because alone, where's the ras? When there are many together, like if with one person here, 2 people here, how much ras? Rasa means happiness, pleasure, flavor, excitement is there. One person, one Maharaj, one disciple. Okay, something is there. But many people, it's very interesting. So Radharani wants to please Krishna. So first she manifests as 8, then they can make the kunj, then someone can make the poetry, then someone can sing and do a performance. And it's very pleasurable. So first Radharani appears, then 8 Sakhis. Bhakti, that's the first Kam Gayatri manifestation. Cling. The sound, beej, root, cling. It's on the shirts we're wearing. This is the Sanskrit for cling. This is the sound of Krishna's flute. And it's the song, or the original song of the idea of the relationship with the soul and God. Cling. And he's calling us with his flute to come and join him. This is what Led Zeppelin sings in Stairway to Heaven. The piper's calling us to join him. I don't know if he was referring to Krishna, but Saraswati indirectly. He's calling us to join him. So Krishna plays his flute. From the 8, then Radharani expands again. 64. Prominent gopis. Now our Japa beads are 108. So this is the 108 gopis. How? First there's Radharani with Krishna. This is the main bead. Then the 8 next beads, Lalita, Vishaka, Chitra, Champakalata, Ranga Devi, Sundevi, Induleka, Tungavidya Sakhi. Those 8 Sakhis. After those 8, then who is there? This is the spiritual system of organization. Actually, we have like a devotee group of Namhatta groups based on the conception of transcendental organizational methods. Based on Braj. So first there's Radharani, then there's the 8 gopis, prominent gopis. Under their leadership, each of them has 8 Sakis and 4 Manjaris. So the difference is that a Saki is a little bit older and has more responsibilities, or meaning more like kind of leadership roles. And the Manjaris are also friends of Radharani. Saki means friend. Okay? Saki is just a Sanskrit word for friend. So Radharani has 8. That's why in the spiritual world, no one says, you are my servant. There are no servants in Braj. There are only friends. Sakis and Sakas. They're only friends. Everyone there is just friends. Not like, oh, go and fetch me water. Their mood is, oh, my friend is thirsty. Before he says, bring me water, they bring him water. Anytime they're in the forest, the boys, coward boys, they're collecting juicy fruits. They don't think, I want to eat it first. They love Krishna so much. They think, let me collect this for him. Even the birds go and collect berries and fruits and give Krishna because they love him. They love him more than they love themselves. But by loving him fully, he's also already loving them. And so by loving him, they themselves are fully absorbed in happiness. Because when are you more happy? When you are just absorbed in like, oh, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. Okay, it's not bad to be, this is about being whole inside and not being, full of so much conflict and, oh, I don't like myself. No problem. Good. But you'll be more happy if you love someone else outside you fully and have a relationship with them. Otherwise, if you're just alone and you don't have any friends, any peers, any partner, if you're just alone in the world, you're going to be happy. You want to experience loving exchanges. So in the spiritual world, they receive more satisfaction and happiness by serving the beloved than by serving themselves. Even when we take initiation from Guru, and we have a chance, if the Guru is very pure, we have a chance to serve our Guru. It's such a special opportunity. Oh, I get to cook and prepare something and serve him, make a garland and give him. And he accepted and gave some blessing. Oh, it's such a sweet feeling. Even, I know this, I don't know how many people are like, if you cook for yourself or you cook for your friends, what do you put more effort into?
Cooking for your friends.
Cooking for your friends. It's like sometimes you cook for yourself and you're just like, some mash, some mac and cheese, just whatever. Or like boil some broccoli, whether it's hard or mushy or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you do it nicely, but you gotta do what you gotta do and you eat and you're fine.
Yeah.
But if you got 5 of your best friends over, you're not gonna cook them some like junk.
Yeah.
Because you experience more happiness serving your friends nicely than serving yourself. So in the spiritual world, everyone just wants to serve their best friend Krishna. And then Krishna wants to serve his best friends, and in this way they're always in a dance of love. This is the dance of Krishna Lila. The dance of serving one another, pleasing one another. And that's bhakti. Bhakti Sevayam. This mood of loving service is bhakti. And this bhakti goes in stages to bhava and to prem. Bhava means ecstatic love, and prem is the ultimate, highest achievement. That this body cannot even experience it without perishing.
Breaking down.
So from bhav to prem, we go to the spiritual world and we leave this body behind. That's the highest perfection. Prema bhakti. So all the 108 gopis, when you're chanting on the beads, you can think the 8 Sakis, closest friends of Radharani. Each of those gopis has 8 assistant gopis, Sakis, and 4 Manjaris who are also Sakis, but they're a little bit younger and they're engaged in doing, the needful personal services. Like what Rupa Manjari, how she serves Radharani, Lalita does not serve. Lalita Devi, she is building kunja, she is organizing everything, she is doing everything. But Rupa Manjari, she is massaging Radharani's feet, she is combing her hair, she is drying her body after she bathes. She is decorating her body with designs and ornaments. She is giving her different ornamentations. She is helping her directly in the kitchen for anything she needs. She is if there's perspiration, when Radharani, loses something, like in kind of pastimes with Krishna. If she were to lose her mekhala, her belt, then just by a glance of her eyes, she can indicate to her manjari that, oh, something is missing. My belt was left in the kunj. In my pastimes with Krishna. Lalita Saki, she will be Sai. I don't want Lalita to see. But by her sidelong glance, she will tell Rupa Manjari, please bring it. Already Rupa Manjari will go. In this case, Vilap Kush Manjari, Rati Manjari goes. The third verse is talking about this. She brings the mekhala, golden belt with beautiful designs and bells, and she places it back on Radharani's waist so expertly that no one notices.
Said it was missing.
I think this is in that painting, Kunj Kirtan.
Yeah.
Just tying there, very subtly.
Or no, without the other one knowing.
So they can do this service that's much more sweet and intimate. Because if you have it's degrees of intimacy give higher degrees of pleasure. If someone is like so confident in you, that Radharani is so confident in her manjaris that they can serve her in a way no one else can. Because she doesn't feel like they are different from herself. She has no shyness in front of them. Therefore, they're also younger. So, Radharani has 4 such manjaris. Rupa and Rati. And in our understanding, Guru and Param Guru. Our Gurudev, because in the spiritual world, there's the eternal associates, and then there's many different compartments, like metaphysical, dimensional realities within the same one thing. These are called prakosht. Prakosht is the Sanskrit word for a division or a section. Like a house has many rooms. So we can imagine it in one room of the spiritual world. And that room has no walls, has no width or length or breadth. It's infinite. But in that space, my Gurudev, his Gurudev, and Rupa and Rati Manjari are serving Radharani. If we're in this line, we may be taking shelter of a guru of a different mood or inherent position. But mostly, in our line, the highest conception is towards this. So our guru, his guru, and Rupa Rati, they're serving Radharani. And my process of trying to attain that world is by developing a chance to, why do we say, to the chance to personally serve the Vaishnava or our guru. It's the best training to go to that world and serve there. Because we're looking after the needs of our guru. Oh, if they, washing their clothes, like they serve Radharani, preparing food stuff, bringing water, arranging different things. It's one of the sweetest services because you build such a relationship where the guru will not tell other people things he will tell you, because he has developed trust in you by you being so close to them and serving every need. And so you will become privy to information that other people will know. And then if you start to share that, then now you will not have that same intimate confidence in you. So that's what is called a sevak. So in the spiritual world, the manjaris, they are of the mood, my existence is only to serve Radharani. But Radharani is not in the mood, oh, you are my servant, go and fetch me this. She's not, the relationship is not based on master and servant. The relationship is based on, there's almost no distinction between myself and the beloved. It's like they are my hand, and I ask my hand to get me water. I'm not thinking my hand is my servant, and so, oh, hand, go get me water. And the hand is not thinking, oh, I have to go get water for my mouth. Radharani and her associates are so closely connected. They're all acting in perfect harmony in their service. So this is Radharani and her 4 manjaris and her 8 sakis. So this is the first group. Radharani, these are the first 12 beads. Radharani, her 8 sakis, are 4 manjaris. This is 12. Then Lalita has 8 sakis, 4 manjaris, another 12. Vishaka, 8 sakis, 4 manjaris, another 12. 8 times 8, 64. The sakis. Then each Saki has 4 manjaris, 32, 96. And then Radharani has 12, 108. This is 108 beats. So I'll say it one more time and then I'll ask you to say it. 8 Sakis of Radharani. The first group is Radharani's group. Her first group. Lalita, Vishaka, Chitra, Champakalata, Rangadevi, Sudevi, Duleka Saki, and Tungavidya. I got it right?
Yeah.
Rupa, Rati, Guru, Param Guru. That's 12. First group. This is spiritual organization. Radharani's the chief executive officer serving Sri Krishna. Under her direct first level, 8 Sakis, 4 Manjaris. Then you can see, imagine Radha Krishna at the top. Then it comes down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Then each of that one, Lalita here, comes down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then another one 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Because the 4, they are directly serving Lalita as her direct assistants. The other are department heads. You are in charge of this, and the departments are very interesting. In the spiritual world, they have battles also. How do they have battles? With flower bombs. It's called Holi.
Flower bombs.
They have, so there's a department leader who's responsible for munitions, collecting all the ammo necessary to engage in flower warfare. You read the books about their pastimes and they have these things. So the 8 are department leaders, but the 4 are personal assistants. So the personal assistants of Radharani, the personal assistants of Lalita. Why do you need 4? One is like directly, closely serving. And another one is directly, closely serving. And then there's 2 assistants that they have. So Rupa and Rati, and then their assistants. So in our picture of Seva Kunj by Shamarani Didi, the 4 Manjaris, 2 are in their inner part and 2 are in the
Outer.
helping the inner part. So this is the system of organization. So Radharani has her 4 personal assistants, 2 very close, 2 assisting those very close. So they share services. Because if I'm very close, I want my best friend to have the chance to do what I'm doing. So in Vilap Manjali, Raghunath Das Goswami Rati Manjali prays, Shri Rupa Manjali Kararchita Pada Padma Gostendra Nandana Bujarpita Mastakaya. Oh Rupa Manjali, when you are massaging Radharani's head, when will you glance at me and indicate to me to come and take her feet and massage her feet? I'm waiting for that day. So we pray with that mood to them. Oh, when will you also engage me in some service? Because that intimate service gives the highest state of spiritual bliss, where we're not seeking that bliss, but it's automatically being received. Because why would the beloved want the lover to experience anything less than himself? Actually, by serving him, they experience greater happiness than he does by being served. So that's why Krishna came as Mahaprabhu, because he wanted to experience the mood that his devotees experience serving him, and his own sweetness. Why? Because sugar cannot taste itself. God is the most sweet. To taste himself, he becomes his own devotee. So what is better, to be sugar or to taste sugar?
Taste sugar.
To be maple syrup or to drink maple syrup?
Ice cream.
So the experience of relishing, you know, what's better, to be ice cream or to eat ice cream?
No, he's happy.
We want to relish it. So God is relishing because his devotees are directly serving him. He's relishing the relationship. But by serving him, you're relishing him. Because he is non-different from bliss. Anandamaya Bhyasat. He is bliss personified. He is the reservoir of pleasure. So in relationship with him, you are drowning in that ocean of bliss. Therefore, he has to come as a devotee so he can drown in that ocean of bliss. Therefore, he comes as Mahaprabhu. And he takes the role of his topmost beloved Radharani, so he can experience himself in the highest extent. Like, our senses are limited. Dogs can hear better. Other animals can smell better. So gradations of devotees can experience God according to their degree of fine tuning, their degree of ability to capture the essence. Like a honeybee or a hummingbird can extract the nectar of a flower. If I were to take a flower and chew it, it's bitter. A hummingbird comes and it only takes the nectar. So Radharani is relishing that sweetest, finest essence of Krishna. So Krishna wants to experience that own love. So therefore, Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidri Sovanaya Vaswadyo Yena Bhutamadari Makidri Sova Madhya Sokyam Chasya Mat Anubhavita Kridrisham Veti Lobat Tad Bhavadya Samajani Sachi Gardaba Sindhu Harindu. Therefore Krishna comes to experience his own sweetness. So it's not just say that Krishna is not happy. Krishna is experiencing infinite bliss because he is God and he is being served by everyone. But he sees that his beloveds are experiencing even more happiness. So he desires to become like them. And he becomes like them as Mahaprabhu. So that's why we have to understand the opportunity we have. It's not like we are in some kind of lesser role. Although we are not God. But we are these small, finite sparks of consciousness. And when we come into connection with the infinite source of consciousness, with the sum and bonum of everything, through love, then we experience that unlimited existence, that infinite bliss. We are experiencing at that point. So the relishing of that moment is so vast, so intense, that God himself wants to experience it. Because he is infinite, and yet he's seeing this finite spark of consciousness. By loving me, he's coming and tapping into the entire web of existence, the entire network of existence. And it's like, a small fiber of an electric, circuit, or like a bulb, a small little fiber or wire. Now it's experiencing unlimited wattage. And that every particle of that wattage, electric energy, is only bliss. So we're that small fiber, that small thread of consciousness. And by developing love for the infinite, that finite thread is now receiving the infinite source of bliss. And so that's why at the development of prema, the body collapses, we achieve a spiritual form. A form through which we can receive that infinite source of bliss at every moment. Otherwise, when our body starts to experience that bhav, our body begins to break down. It's too much energy. It's too much. It's not that the energy is too much, but our bodies, we start to go mad. Mm-hmm. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sometimes his limbs would expand 21 feet. All the joints would separate. Sometimes they would become like a turtle. And he would become maddened to show us what is the state of bhav. It's described to be like an elephant, a mad elephant who is rampaging a garden. You can imagine if this place here, there was a mad, wild elephant running around everywhere. It's destroying everything in its path. So Bhav Bhakti is like that. The body is like the garden, and the elephant is the ecstatic love running throughout it. So the body begins to deteriorate. Why? To prepare us to bridge to the spiritual world. And at the achievement of prema, in a moment, we are transported to the spiritual world. Narad Rishi, when he achieved perfection, it said that when he gave up his physical body, the same instant he achieved a spiritual body. Like two bolts of lightning occurring at the same instant. Material body gone, spiritual body achieved. This Bhagavatam describes it. If you look in the sky and you see right next to each other, two flashes of lightning. How much time in between them? Nothing. They're occurring simultaneously. They may occur at different times in other circumstances, but this example is saying two bolts of lightning occurring simultaneously when you achieve pure bhakti, prema, the highest level. The material body is discarded, spiritual body is immediately achieved. That is prema bhakti. So now we come back to the present moment. Why are we chanting? Are we chanting just to fill our quota because our Gurudev told us so? In the beginning stage, with faith in our Guru, we chant like this. Gurudev said to chant this many rounds, I will chant this many rounds. But he is not telling us to chant just to control our mind, control our senses. Develop the love for God, everything will be controlled automatically. It's called auto-magically. You can control artificially or auto-magically. If we develop bhakti, our senses are controlled auto-magically. Without bhakti, we can try to control our senses, but we will fail when we are tested. It's very difficult. You'll have sages practicing austerity for 10,000 years. Complete, perfect celibates. And then the demigods send the demigoddesses to come and test them on their path, and hearing the ankle bells of the goddess, smelling her fragrance. These are the 5 arrows of lust, Kamdev, Cupid. The 5 arrows of Cupid are shot. Oh, by sound. The sage will be doing meditation, 10,000 years, trying to control his senses. Tapasya, 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 austerity. First, jingle, 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 jingle. First arrow. What does it do? It begins to inflame the sense of hearing. The past impressions in the heart of amorous affairs we have encountered through millions of lives excites the senses. Then the next arrow.
Smell.
The goddesses of heaven are wearing, now they don't even have to wear perfume. Their bodies exude such a fragrance. It is unimaginable now in our state. So, then you begin to become intoxicated. Next arrow comes. This is the pastime of Lord Shiva. This was shown by Lord Shiva, actually, as one example.
Agni-Dev pretty much lost his mind for a woman too, right? And all he did was hear her ankle bells. He didn't even see her.
This is what happens to the sages when they're practicing without love for God. If you have love for God, who had love for God by chanting Harinam perfectly? Who knows? Haridas Thakur. Every day 3 lakh Harinam. The most beautiful woman in the world. The king of the time wanted to make Haridas Thakur fall down, so he had a beauty pageant. Indian Idol. Who is the most beautiful Miss Universe? And let me send her to try to bring him down. She was unable to do so because he had love for God. And so that love for God completely filled up his cup. There was no room in it for anything else to enter. Something else comes on top, just fall out. It's full of love for God. So the sages, 3rd arrow. What's the 3rd arrow? First is jingle jingle.
Sound.
Smell. Sight. The next one would be
Sound also. Singing.
Song is the
Sweet
sound.
singing.
yeah, sound.
Sound is
But it's also connected.
Things,
Sometimes, they try to get your attention, then we're singing some sweet song. Coming closer. What is she trying to do? And it's not that it's bad. This is material nature.
She's being
It's
according to her
testing us.
nature.
She's engaging. No. This is our soul, even in Kundalini. When you awaken your Kundalini, at every checkpoint of the chakra's development, there are different yoginis, spiritual goddesses that test you at each stage. So in the process of spiritual advancement through austerity, through meditation, you have to go through the guardians of the gateways. So these, even if a goddess comes to you, it said when you advance in spiritual life, more and more enticements and allurements will come. Wealth will come, fame will come, followers will come, beautiful women will come. Can you be surrounded by that without deviating from your
Center.
stream-like, honey-like love for God? Very dangerous. So what is the 3rd arrow? She wants you to look.
To look at her.
So the jingling of the ankle bells, the aromatic smells, you're thinking, must be very beautiful. It would be pretty funny if she smelled amazing, sounds amazing.
But did not look as amazing.
It's not like that. So they open the eyes. What is the most dangerous thing? Oh, eye-to-eye connection. Finished.
Yes.
This is the arrow. Piercing the heart. Then, touch. By the arrow piercing the heart of the eyes, you think, what does she feel like? Haribo. Then, this is called Pushpa Banaya, the 5 arrows of Cupid. So we may do austerity for 10,000 years. Standing on our tippy toes, standing on our thumbs, doing pranayam. If we do not develop that love for God through our practice, when we are tested by these gateway guardians, we will not pass the test, then we'll have to again enter the cycle of samsara. The form of the goddess, whether you are serving or being allured by, either way you're serving her. When you get married, what do? You serve the woman. So you want to serve Radharani or serve her shadow and shadow of a shadow as material nature. Either way, you are serving. And that's not bad. Service is the nature of the soul. That's not bad. But our mood in spiritual life, getting married is not bad. But you see your wife as Krishna Dasi, servant of Krishna. And you have relationship with her. There's nothing wrong with that. And you have children. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the Varnashram system. But you understand she is a servant of God. And therefore I'm fortunate that I can also be in this family by which I can cultivate my spiritual life and love for God. So whether you are serving Maya or serving Radha, you're still serving. So if you are enamored by the material energy, that's why people get offended. Ladies get offended. Oh, you are saying we are like Maya. Why are you speaking, oh, we are Maya? It's not an insult.
The same will be true about us with them anyway.
Yeah. We're Maya for them.
We are, Rukmini Devi says. So Rukmini Devi says, Krishna's wife in Dwarka, his first wife. What foolish woman would want to serve a material man whose body is made up of pus, urine, stool, and all these substances that, when they come out of the body, you want to throw them away. If it was so great, then when you pass stool, why would you want to flush it down the toilet and take a shower? It's very nice. Keep it with you. So Rukmini says, don't serve this form of Maya. But particularly the material energy or material nature itself, its combined form, embodied, is that of the attractive form, of the material form of the goddess. But the problem is not that thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Yopayati shanera maya yoshit deva vinirmritam twamikshatatmanam mrityum trinakupam ivavritam. Why it's particularly, not a man or woman that's being mentioned is because Krishna says, because the soul has developed Purush Bhav. Because externally, the soul is not man or woman. My soul is transcendental to man or woman. But because I've developed the ego that I want to be like God, the enjoyer, the dominator, the controller, the man, then God fulfills our desire by creating the form of woman to reciprocate and try to act out the imitation of God with. And that is samsara. The development of samsara is, we heard it in a class from Bhagavat Maharaj. The development of samsara is predicated on the relationship between man and woman. And we're in this cycle of birth and death as men and as women in every species. And so the soul switches roles all the time. The soul is, in this life, I'm a man. Last life, whether I was a man or a woman, who knows? I've taken on all these roles. Ant-man, ant-woman. Spider-Man, Spider-Woman. Batman, Batwoman. Catwoman, Catman. all these heroic roles. But why is it first woman? Original, why is it Adam and Eve? Because when we come into this world, why are we divorced from God at the present moment? Because we have decided, I want to try to act out the role of God. So I want to be the man, the enjoyer. So God says, yes, tatashtu, as you like, try it. See how you like it. That's why they say, Kamanirakam nahi tabadam tahara malik kevala jadav. We want to be God, but we're not capable of being God. God has to take care of billions of his devotees and fulfill their desires. We cannot satisfy the desires of one woman. What to speak of unlimited women? So we want to be God, but we're not capable of being God. So we try to act out that role. Eventually we become dissatisfied and we say, oh, let me just be your servant. Let's try that for some time. And in being his servant, we become fully happy because we're living out our perfect role. And that role is the experience. Don't think it's a lesser role. God himself appears as Mahaprabhu to taste and relish that role. So I said again, we are the finite spark of consciousness. We are not the infinite consciousness. We cannot become that. We can experience that infinite bliss, that infinite consciousness, that infinite existence. That is Krishna. Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. The form of eternal existence, eternal consciousness, and eternal bliss. So the finite soul comes into contact with that and experiences that whole force by prem or love for him. So at the highest state, by just doing austerity, without developing that love, what will happen? We'll fail the test when it comes to its final boss. The final level comes, and then again we'll enter into the service of Maya. So don't think I'm criticizing any form or anything. The soul is beyond these categories. But we are in this play or this dance in samsara or Maya. And we are trying to rise up. So the way to rise up is going back to Japa, Harinam. Chanting on Harinam. What are we doing when we chant on Harinam? We're following the Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam says, Vikriditam Vrajavadubiridam cha Vishnu Shradanvito Anusiyad Atavarnayadya Bhakti Parang Bhagavati Pratilabhya Kamam Hridrogam Asu Apinoti Achirena Dhira. To become sober in spiritual life, the best method is to remember Sri Krishna and his beautiful pastimes with his associates, the best of whom are the Brajagopis. The method of freeing ourselves from the disease of material lust and the material consciousness is by worshipping the transcendental pure form of love. From the material point of view, it may even appear like lust, lusty activities, but that is only to attract us towards him. So therefore he displays his pastimes that look like they are material affairs. That is his great compassion. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusham dehamashritam. He takes a human-like form and exchanges sweet, loving affairs with his devotees in order to attract us to him. And therefore, by hearing those pastimes from a qualified person, it can uproot the disease of material lust in the heart or the desire to enjoy over everything and mutate it or transform it, subliminate it into the desire to serve the beloved in his transcendental existence. Then we become lovers of God. Bhaktim param. Transcendental devotion awakens. Pratilabhya kamam. Lust afterwards disappears. So I was saying, the sage, we're doing meditation, but we'll fall down. But when we develop bhakti param, transcendental love, pratilabhya kamam, automatically all material impediments to spiritual growth disappear. Pratilabhya kamam, lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion. All these things automatically disappear when first pure devotion arises. That is our method in our Gaudiya line, as per the opinion of Sukadev Goswami. bhakting parang bhagavati pratilabhya kamam hridrogam asu apineta achirena dhira. Very quickly and easily, the disease of the heart or this false ego vanishes. This is our process. So while we are chanting japa, attentively chanting, not just as a process to control the mind and senses, although it does that, it's a side effect. We take the medicine, the primary result or goal is to become lovers of God. The side effects are sense control, mind control, in heightened intelligence, spiritual powers, everything comes. Mukti, bhukti, janplaya. Liberation, all sense gratification runs behind you with folded hands saying, please take me, take me, take me. For pure devotees, wealth, power, followers, everything comes with folded hands. Take me, take me, take me. The story of Jesus. The whole world, everything was before his feet, but he did not take it. He did not need it. Sadhu may take what he needs, but they're not attached to it. So the point is that if you develop the primary method, all the subsidiary parts will be automatically achieved. If you get $1 million, all your $5 problems vanish. Our Gurudev would say that. If you get $1 million, all of your $5 problems are gone. Develop love for God. $5 problems, lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, all these $5 problems, gone. You have $1 million. $5 here, $5 there, $5 there, gone. Haridas Thakur, lust, anger, greed, not problems. So this is our method. So to cap this off, when I gave my morning class the other day, I was talking about the importance of the sense of missionary drive and spirit and service and brotherhood through service. And how we put Guru and Krishna at the center and we serve them with every ounce of our energy, our life, blood, everything. That's half of the equation. The other half is developing love through building relationship by chanting japa, by doing kirtan, by all these practices of sadhana. We're trying to develop eternal spiritual relationship by serving Guru and Vaisnava, developing relationship with them, with sadhu who has relation with Krishna. Then automatically perfection is achieved. The Bhagavatam says, the ocean of samsara has no shore, no bottom, impossible to cross. But by serving the sadhu, chanting Harinam, that ocean of samsara becomes like the water present in the hoof of a baby calf. Hoof print. I'll say it one more time. The ocean of samsara has no shore and no bottom. How many universes are present in this world? They're all part of samsara. Millions and billions. That is the ocean of material existence. No end. How are you going to get to the end of existence? Where's the bottom? Where's the top? Where's the sides? But that ocean of samsara becomes as small or insignificant as the water found in the hoof prints of a baby calf. It says baby calf, not adult cow. Baby calf's hoof print is like, this is too big. Really small baby calf. Like a silver dollar.
Yeah.
There you go. So samsara is all here. And when we're walking, you step over many of those leaves without any difficulty. No difficulty. Try to cross samsara without that. Never possible. But this is the process of alchemy, spiritual alchemy. What is very difficult to achieve becomes very easy to achieve by the process of spiritual alchemy. Kam krodh kiba kodite pari jadi hoy sadhu janar sanga. What can lust and anger do to the person who is in the association of saintly devotees, no effect. Because you're in that protective bubble, that energetic field, they are protecting you. Every moment is auspicious. But sadhu sangha means real association, means based on relationship. So those things come and go like waves. Lust, anger, greed, man, it comes and goes like waves. Do not be disturbed. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Apuryamanang achala pratishtam samudrama pa pravishanti advat tadvat kama yang pravishanti sarve sa shantim apnati na kama kami. This is eshate brahmastiti, brahma nirvanam gacchati. This is the method of achieving brahma nirvan, freedom from desire in this world. When, like all the rivers flow into the ocean is undisturbed. The spiritual practitioner, all desires may flow into him, but he is not attached thinking these are my desires. This is the material body. Material body has agitations, desire to eat, desire to have sex, desire to enjoy, desire to do these things. But I am not that. I am not that body. I am separate. Like a lotus leaf, roots in the mud, stem in the water, but leaf is above, transcendental to it. Let it come and go and pass through me, no problem. Radhe, 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 Radhe. Our Vaishnavas would say, oh, sometimes as men, wake up,
First thing in the morning.
some problem may be there. Radhe, 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 Radhe. No problem. Haribo.
Haribo.
Why? It's the material body. It's doing its thing. No problem. I am not that body. I am spirit soul. I am the lover of God. If that is happening to my body by my karma, what is the problem? According to my karma, I have certain intelligence, I have certain strength, certain abilities. These things come and go, like the seasons passing. Rivers flowing in and out, desires coming and going. No problem, Radhe, Radhe. I am not that. And as the more we develop that identification as servants of God, lovers of God and Guru, these things will stop to harass us. They will no longer harass us. Dhiras tatra namuyati. We'll become sober and no longer bewildered by Maya. So this is our process of chanting. So I said, this is the half of the equation. We must have both sides. Every day we wake up, how can I serve my Guru today as he likes? If it's sitting under a tree chanting, that is my seva. If it's going out and preaching, that is my seva. Every day our mind, one objective, how can I please my Guru? How can I serve, satisfy him? If he is pleased, God is pleased. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. His pleasure is God's pleasure. Shakshad haritvena samasta sasha. The scriptures say, Krishna says in the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam, Acharyam mang vijaniyam. Know that the Acharya is myself. Navamanyet hakadhichit. Narmartya buddha suyeta. Sarva deva mayo guru. All devatas, demigods, and all their powers reside in the body of Guru because he is their medium and their messenger. So you wake up, if you're ask him, how can I serve you? Then he will ask Krishna, how should he serve me? How should he serve you? You wake up in the morning and you chant your japa and you do your mantra and you meditate and go to Guru. How can I serve you today? Same time he is asking, oh Krishna, how should they serve you today? And then he'll instruct you. This is how we are serving God. So this is the one half. Guru seva sadadrita yaya bhaktir bhagavati anjasa yat sukavaha. Sanskrit. Very easily and happily you can achieve perfection by service to your Guru. This is the topmost practice. The other side, developing the mood of love and devotion by chanting japa. Chanting japa is your time with Krishna in the day. When we are busy in activities, we can also chant. But when you're with your wife, you're not, running around here and there doing 1,000 things. Your wife wants time to be with you. Only you. When you're with your child, If you have kids, you're with your kids, and you're like, oh, you know, I gotta run errands, I gotta do this chore, I gotta do that chore, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. They just want to play ball with you. Just want to hang out with you. So if you don't spend time just with them, with attention, then it means you don't have love for them. The only time you spend with your kids is on business. Where's the relationship? So what do? Chanting japa is our time just with Krishna. Because Krishna is non-different from his names. And so this is our way to be related to him. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. 16 rounds. How much time do we want to be with Krishna every day? That's how many rounds we chant. How much time do we want to be with Krishna every day?
Not a moment without.
So that's why Haridas Thakur chanted 3 lakh Harinam. 18 hours a day with Krishna. Because then you don't want anything else.
Yeah.
If you don't have the taste, you're not experiencing his pastimes. When you develop chanting and attentiveness, you become there with him. Your consciousness transfers to his realm. So you're seeing all his pastimes. You're witnessing it like an endless reel, a movie. A great movie, a great series, you know, you can binge watch it. So chanting Harinam, the great sadhus, chanting 3 lakhs Harinam a day, they're binging on Krishna Lila.
That was the first Netflix and chill.
They're binging on Krishna Lila. So sometimes their disciple will come and say, come take prasad. No, I'm not finished yet. This episode is still on. Krishna Lila is still going on. So this is called Swarasiki Upasana and Mantra Upasana. Mantra Upasana means like a painting, like Shamarai Didi's painting, Kunja Kirtan. You can chant Harinam and watch that painting for hours. Mantra Mayupasana, while chanting you meditate on that pastime. That's why Gurudev gave us Seva Kunj. This picture is for a Mantra Mayupasana. As we chant Harinam, we absorb our consciousness in that image, that scene, that moment of a scene. Mantra Mayupasana. If we do that long enough, it will animate. And it will go on. Astakalya Lila. That pastime will animate in our internal vision, and we'll see it pass, go on. Krishna smaram janam chasya pristam nija samanhitam tat kata rataschaso kuryad vasam praje sada. The sadhus who do like this become completely detached to external environment. This world becomes less real than that world. They're sitting here, and it's like they come out of that sometimes, and they look around, where am I? What dream am I in? And then they close their eyes again and start to chant and go to the real world. That's Swarasiki Upasana. And those pastimes will then pass by your internal vision, and you absorb yourself in that, chanting and chanting and chanting until this body is given up. Narottam Das Thakur sings, Jai Deha Antima Kale, Raki Bo Shri Jamuna Rajale, Jai Radha Govinda Bole, Bhasibo Go. When it is time for me to give up this body, I will lay down in the Jamuna. Floating along the Jamuna, I will chant Jai Radhe Govinda and give up my life and appear in that world. So this is why we are attentively chanting. We're not jumping these stages. I said in the beginning, the first half, Guru Seva. Every day I wake up, meditate on my Gurudev, pray to my Gurudev, how can I serve you today? And then when we are chanting Japa, we are nurturing that relation with Gurudev and with Krishna. Mantra Mayupasana, you can look at the pastimes of Krishna. You can do Japa in the Shringadev pastime, Ram pastime, Krishna pastime, Mother Yashoda with Krishna pastime, Mantra Mayupasana. Absorb your mind only in that. And gradually, Swarasiki Upasana will manifest, where all of Krishna Lila goes like a reel in our mind. Then we can chant 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh without noticing the passing of time. The whole day can pass, and then you'll wake up, well, where am I? Oh, it's nighttime. I've seen Vaishnavas like that. We hear of Vaishnavas all day chanting. It's not like it's a chore for them. All day and night chanting. So that's why I'm saying how much we want to be with Krishna, that much we will chant. But Vaishnavas also tell us, now you must be in this world. Don't always, You have to serve now, here and now. So they give us instructions relevant to us at our time. And through the method of service, we develop Sukriti, then we can actually meditate and serve Krishna. That's why Jagannath Das Babji Maharaj, many people came to him to do a so-called bhajan. He said, go out and plant vegetables in the field. They complained to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, why are we being sent here to plant vegetables? We came for meditation. He said, no. Follow his instructions. This is bhakti. This will help you develop Sukriti. As you develop Sukriti, you can perform bhajan. Otherwise, your bhajan is only enjoyment. It's not with a mood of selfless dedication. So our attentive chanting is vital. Our kirtan, everything. This is our primary practice. Harinam. Without Harinam, all our seva is karma, material work. And it will give us a fruitive material result. But by doing the proper japa, all of our activities become bhakti. This is the spark that is needed to ignite our spiritual life. Otherwise, we're going around like a zombie doing so many things. Cooking, cleaning, working, preaching. Without Harinam Japa, it's all just activities. Sukriti maybe. But when we develop the proper mood of chanting Harinam, every activity becomes Krishna Seva Vasana. Bhakti is simply the desire to serve and please Krishna. So if we don't have love for Krishna by developing through chanting, our activities are not there to please Krishna. We're going through the motions. And we're practicing like toddlers, in school. A, B, C, D. We're trying, we're practicing. But if we develop the mood, then everything we do is bhakti. Because we'll do it all only to please Krishna. Therefore it is bhakti. Bhajadatviti Sevayam, Krishna Seva Vasana. So therefore we are every day trying to chant Harinam, cultivating the relationship with Guru and Krishna. That's why we do kirtan to Gurudev, to Vaishnava, to Mahaprabhu, to Nityananda, to Krishna. It's our time with them. Realigning with the divine. Spending time with the divine by chanting their names. So we'll end with that. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Any questions?
I was just thinking, Madhukar Guru today was saying it was very similar to the story of like for Ram Navami, we were speaking about Bharat Maharaj. And it was like, do you want to do what you think is best for Ram or what Ram wants? And Madhukar Guru was saying today also, he was like, are we doing seva and is Gurudev pleased or are we pleased by the seva that we think we're doing? I was like, so we're like, I'm doing so much seva. It's like Gurudev is pleased with me. He's like,
Question.
is it really what Gurudev wants you to be doing?
Wow.
Prabhu, also, just a comment, maybe a question, if so. Right now, like you're saying, you're given the comparison, like Haridas Thakur, they're not charmed by lust, and we see that in their pastime. So in our present stage, as you said, the Acharya said, in your conditioned state, we see we're aiming for the stars, that in that stage, lust and everything we're understanding, we're not this body, by knowledge in our present stage. But also, it is important for us to follow our Acharya's teachings in understanding how material nature is so powerful. Like Mahaprabhu said, do not put yourself, do not even look at a wooden doll. And Chanakya Pandit said, one should not even go. Srila Prabhupada said in commentary in Bhagavatam that women are like fire and men are like butter. So knowing these things, we should understand also how material energy is and not be thinking, oh, the sages did 10,000 years of tapasya and I'm doing bhakti. One should not, like you said, just imitate and just jump and think. Like Sinanti Maharaj was telling Prem Priti Prabhu, Adhikar Bhed, when he was speaking about difference in qualification, and he was explaining that we're seeing Shri Guru is going on morning walk, but Gurudev said he never goes on morning walk, he does Govardhan Parikrama. But in our present condition, when Shri Guru leaves and we're going on morning walk, we're actually doing exercising, and we're saying, I'm doing this because Guru is doing. So that is very important. I was just thinking that we should follow and understand material nature. Don't put yourself in situation, although you're on the path of understanding I'm not this body, and mourning, like you said, as men, certain things happen, and what's not. It's easy as gyan with knowledge, but one should not put yourself in that situation, because material energy is like that. And we see that with Bilvamangal Thakur on the way to Vrindavan. So these acharyas are showing us how powerful the material
Nature.
energy is.
Mm.
And Lord Shiva is so amazing to show us. So we're learning all of these things. Brahma, in that position, he showed us with Saraswati. Then, but in his pastime, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, as Haridas Thakur, engaged in Japa. And
So it's basically, yes, Haridas Thakur showed through Japa, attentive Japa, he conquered over all these things. And through humility, then he was able to do constant kirtan, humility, tolerance, honoring others, not desiring honor for oneself. Then we can constantly chant. So there's many sides and many instructions and things that can help you. Advice, many kinds of advice. They say you should always try to live in a spiritual place, with spiritual association, with spiritual dress, spiritual, things that help you in your spiritual life. So if you're gonna live in a casino, there's a higher chance of you gambling
Right.
than if you're living, broke with your family in a forest. So don't, you're gonna live in a casino and say I'm never gonna gamble. The odds are better that you'll gamble there. So be in an environment that's favorable for your spiritual life.
So you need to set yourself up for success.
Set yourself up for success. But the best way to set yourself up for success is to follow the order of your guru. Your guru may say go to a casino and preach. Yes.
yeah, he's empowering you.
Or he may say, maybe put a coin in the slot and see what happens. Maybe they'll hit the jackpot, who knows?
Yeah.
But all these considerations are there. We don't want to become some kind of like cowboy, like I can just do anything, I can go anywhere, I can do nothing. I can do whatever I want. That's not this right spiritual attitude. I should follow proper codes and conducts given by our scriptures and our authorities, and with the right mood. So, stop with that. Time is in prayer.